I did not think welding was going to be easy, but I definitely did not think it was going to make me want to quit so many times. My name is Dusty, and I'm a welding artist from Vancouver Island, Canada. On my YouTube channel, it is my mission to teach and show off the possibilities of TIG welding, and I want to show it to all the positive people in the welding industry who love TIG welding as much as I do. So, join me for my mission on my channel, and let's get welding. This is Pacific Arc TIG Welding. So for anybody that may be new to my channel, welcome. My name's Dusty, and I've been a TIG welder for almost 20 years now. I started out as somebody who just swept up the floors and cleaned up the welding shop, and over a period of time, I actually worked my way up to be a welding supervisor for a company. I went through many years of schooling and certification to get where I'm at nowadays. There's been a lot of different things that have come and gone throughout the years, but there's one thing that kept coming back over my career, and that was a few different things that would make me feel like quitting. When I first started out with TIG welding, I was really excited to learn. It didn't take long for me, however, to start running into some obstacles that would start to become pretty challenging. Some of these things were pretty minor, but some of these things were actually pretty serious to me. And unfortunately, after being in the industry for so long, I see these things in a lot of different places. So I thought I'd jump on here today for my show this week, share some of these experiences with you, maybe help somebody out by letting them know everybody deals with these sometimes. So one of the biggest things I've personally had to overcome in the industry of TIG welding is negativity. Now, over the years, I've had the pleasure of working with some pretty old school type people. I've worked with people who are set on doing things a certain way, and everything should always be done that way, no matter what. I came up when I was young trying to learn from these people. Needless to say, it was really difficult sometimes. Anytime I would try and suggest something that was out of the norm, usually got met by something along the lines of, do what I tell you. Myself, personally, I've always loved asking questions. I'm the kid in the front of the class with his hand up all the time, driving the teachers crazy. It's how I learned. And unfortunately, in the job, sometimes questioning things like this wasn't really an option. There was one time, I'll always remember this, I was instructed to do something, and let's say, without the best instruction. And, of course, as a new person, I didn't fully understand. Now, I've been at this job for a while now, and after understanding kind of how these people worked, I wasn't really comfortable asking questions to elaborate what they meant with some of these instructions. So, I just went ahead and did the job. Needless to say, I screwed that job up big time. It was all good. Took a bit of reworking, we got back on track, not a big deal. But when I tell you, I got in trouble, I got in big trouble. Now, I've seen this type of thing in the industry over the years, not only on the work site, but even when I went back to school. Now, I got to go to a pretty awesome school with some pretty awesome teachers, but even at school, I saw this attitude pretty often as well. Now, let me ask you something. If you're somebody who's new in the industry or new in school, how comfortable are you going to be asking questions when you feel like you were possibly being an inconvenience or even possibly looking stupid in front of someone? If you're like I was when I first started, you're probably going to be a little bit shy about asking. It's understandable. I have a big problem with learning like this. For the people I've trained in person, and especially the people I've been training online in my program, I've tried to nurture a relationship with my students where somebody can always ask a question and always get the help they want. Not only that, I'm completely open to the fact that the things I know aren't always the way to go. Sometimes they're not even applicable to what we're doing. How often you can hear that in the welding trade? I try and be as open-minded as I can because it actually helps me learn more as a welder myself. I really have a problem with people being negative, and especially people who give poor instruction and make people feel uncomfortable to ask questions. It's been something that I've really taken to heart over the years, and one of the biggest reasons I've actually started this channel, to share information and help people. It's something I genuinely wish I had when I first started welding. There was another thing that almost made me quit, and this thing was really tough to get past. And that thing, everybody is familiar with this one, was frustration. When I first started out at a welding shop, I didn't have the goal to be a general laborer. I saw the guys and girls in really high and important positions doing incredible work. They were doing amazing fabrication jobs, really intricate and beautiful welding jobs. I wanted to do this stuff. There was no room for me in the middle. I'm a really goal-oriented person. So for me, it was the top position and get as good as everybody else there. Maybe even better, but nothing else. Now, when I got started with TIG welding, I had a little bit of success at first, but after a while, I was kind of horrified to find out how difficult it actually was. I got stuck, and I got really stuck for a long time. And unfortunately, as I mentioned before, I didn't really have a teacher that was willing to stick by my side and help me get through to reach the goals I was after. Now let me know if you can identify with this one. Being stuck on something and putting so much work into it, but nothing is moving. It's almost like the more you practice, the worse it gets. How is this possible? There was days when after work, I went home feeling completely disappointed and frustrated with myself. I would work my normal tasks throughout the day, look forward every day to a fresh start, starting practice again. Once I got set up and grabbed a welding torch in my hand, it was like the same thing over and over and over. All day long, I would daydream about breaking the slump and getting some progression, only to sit down and get stuck again. After a while of doing this over and over, I started to lose my damn mind. Could not, for the life of me, break out of this rut. I think, being completely honest, I was stuck on some really intermediate welds for almost a year. No joke. I didn't have anyone to help me. At this time, there was no such thing as YouTube. That's right, it was that long ago. And the college near me only offered classes during work hours. So I wasn't able to attend schooling, and unfortunately wasn't able to get any help in the workplace I was trying to practice. But after a while, I started to overcome some frustration, and I finally started to have some success again. The hard work paid off. But let me tell you, I was incredibly close to quitting. Not just quitting the shop, but quitting welding completely. What would I have done instead? Starbucks barista? Sell hats in the mall and the hat store? Comment below if you know what my next job should have been. As I said, if I couldn't find out what I wanted to do, there was no middle ground for me. It was keep fighting until you break through and have some success, or peace out and find something new completely. So that was my battle with frustration. The next battle was something I definitely did not expect, and that battle was with injury. Now, I am curious to the people who have dealt with this before. I suffered from a pretty serious wrist and hand injury that would not go away. I don't know if it was carpal tunnel or some kind of ligament injury like tendonitis or something, but there was a long stretch of time where I could actually not see things getting any better at all. I was soaking my hands and wrists in a bucket of ice water on my coffee breaks. I didn't know what to do. I was barely making it through to the end of every shift, and over the weekend it would basically be Tiger Bomb and worrying about what the next week would hold. I never did take a break from video games though, and I do not regret that at all. But it was serious. I actually went and saw a doctor. Guess what he said? He told me to get another job. There it is again. What would my other job be? Not a doctor, that's for sure. Like I said, I was obsessed with welding. I didn't want a different job. I was willing to practice as much as possible. I was willing to put in the work to get as good as possible. All of a sudden, because of my stupid wrists, I couldn't do anything. I was even having problems just going to work and trying to sweep the floor to help out. It sucked super bad. But eventually, things started to get better. I started going to physical therapy for some help and taking on some different physical therapy exercises at home to take care of my sore hands and sore wrists. I'm actually debating doing an episode completely on taking care of your hands, wrists, shoulders, and neck. These are all things that super commonly give welders a lot of problems. So if any of these bother you, leave it in the comments below. If you're interested in an episode like this, I would happily do one to help some people out. But long story short, I really wish I had started to do some exercises or something to take care of this before it became a problem. When I was in my early 20s, I didn't give a shit about my body or my health. It was Mr. Noodles, cigarettes, sleeping until noon on the weekends. I didn't do anything to take care of myself. But as I've learned after years in the trade now, one of the most important things to do is take care of your body. There are exercises, there are stretches, there are tons of things you can do to take care of your body and drastically reduce any chances of you getting injured from doing something you love over and over. If you don't take care of yourself, your career can be cut really, really short. Take care of your body and address injuries as they happen. Take care of your body. Welding is too fun to give it up for something stupid like injury. Now this last one may be a surprise to you, but it was one of the biggest reasons I almost quit welding. And that reason was because I was bored. I'd worked so hard for years to get a position that I loved. I was doing jobs that I loved. I was working with people that were totally awesome. And I was actually getting to be part of a different culture in a shop that I wished I had been a part of when I first started getting going with TIG welding. After a few years went by, I started to find myself doing the same jobs over and 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 over. I developed a skill with welding that was extremely artistic. I was actually able to develop a style of welding that was directly identifiable as my work. And I guess I gotta say, started getting bored doing simple stuff. Tried making games out of what I was doing. I tried taking photos of the best stuff I was doing to try and outdo myself. I guess some of those things helped me improve though, for sure. But nothing to really stop me from feeling the boredom that I was struggling with. Now I hear it all the time. That's work. That's what it's supposed to be. That's why they call it work. All of these common things that people told me didn't register in my brain at all. Once again, after everything I did to get to this point, I was considering doing something else. It felt like such a waste to walk away from something like that. I worked my ass off for years, but for some reason the stuff I was doing was not fulfilling me in the way I wanted it anymore. Now another thing I also did a long time ago was I went to art school. I did it right when I got out of high school. I think I was like 19 or 20 at the time. In art school, I really started to understand the connection that I had with creating stuff. This is when I actually got the idea to start making artwork with my welding. And after I started putting my ideas together, I got the idea to start my YouTube channel. That's right, that's how this YouTube channel started. I was thinking about quitting welding. The reason I can now continue to do it is because I found a love where I could use my skill and continue to learn even more about welding doing it. This channel totally saved my love for welding. It also went to show me that there is even more options to do as a welding career. Now I actually stuck with my job. Kind of finding this new way to express myself with art made me enjoy everything I was doing even more. All of a sudden my coworkers became like best friends again. Well, most of them. There are so many avenues you can do with welding out there. I definitely encourage people to think about what they want to do with it and go for it. If you're getting into TIG welding, you're about to spend an extraordinary amount of time to learn one of the most difficult trades. After you acquire the skill, there's about 1 million different options of what you can do with it. I definitely encourage you to aim for the goals that you want and think ambitiously. It's completely fine to get a normal job that you may not think you want at the time. These are all places that are gonna help you develop your skill even more, meet great people, and learn from job situations you might not have expected to be in. You can always develop your skills as you go further in your career and change your plans if you feel like it. Just know there is always something out there for you to keep things fresh, new, and most importantly, to me especially, learning new things. I honestly think that one of the main things that ruins this trade for a lot of people is not learning anything new. Challenge yourself. Do more difficult things. Do them more often. These are ways you're gonna get better as a worker, and it will show you that you can follow your talents to a job that you might not even know you wanted. So to anybody that has struggled with any of these things I've been talking about here, my strength goes out to you. TIG welding is one of the funnest things you can do. When you accomplish it and get some wins under your belt learning something really difficult, you feel absolutely amazing. Hit me up in the comments below. I wanna know what you've struggled with, and I wanna know what you did to overcome them. These are some things that take a lot of people out. People get into it super excited, and then something happens to take them out of it. It's a bummer. That's why I started this channel. That's why I started my online program. I wanted to teach people on my channel and in my program the fun that you can have with TIG welding. There's an episode right below here that has a lot of really good beginner tips on how to get going with basic stuff with TIG welding to keep things simple so you don't get frustrated. Check that one out. It's in the description below. So today, I challenge you, go out and do a random act of kindness. Go out and spread some positivity. Do your part. The world needs it right now. For Pacific Arc TIG Welding, my name's Dusty. Have a good one. Peace.